Siblings who fight a lot gain surprising advantages, from thicker skins to sharper negotiating skills. Indeed, conflict is inevitable, but it's important to note that it doesn't have to come at the cost of a close-knit bond. Children between the ages 8 and 10 are constantly getting on each other's nerves. They compete for attention and praise, and seem to go out of their way just to disagree with each other. They also look out for each other and show they care in myriad ways, particularly when they think no one is watching. Ultimately, the goal is to have kids who love as hard as they battle. With that in mind, here are some helpful tips from a psychologist on how to raise siblings who love each other through all of life's highs and lows. Let's dive in. 1. Fight smart in front of them. When parents handle conflict and anger with each other in a healthy, respectful way, they are modeling how their kids should face off. If you slam doors, hurl insults, actual household items, it's a safe bet they'll mimic you the next time someone pushes their buttons. Dr. Mazur confirms that it's very important to teach emotion regulation and conflict resolution skills through modeling. So if you and your partner are arguing in front of your children, that's okay, just so long as they also see the loving resolution. 2. When in doubt, let them work it out. Unless your kids' fights are about to enter the realm of bloodshed or bullying, or they're stuck in a pattern where an older child seems to always dominate a younger one, give them a minute before you get involved. Per Dr. Mazur, siblings' fights are valuable opportunities for growth. Hair-trigger intervention only perpetuates their reliance on you as a referee. Also, stepping in may mean taking sides, a surefire way to stir up sibling rivalry. Letting your kids work out minor issues without immediately intervening will help them in school, work, and beyond. 2. As Jeffrey Kluger, author of The Sibling Effect, What the Bonds Among Brothers and Sisters Reveal About Us, told NPR. One of the most profound effects siblings have on you is that area of conflict resolution skills, that area of relationship formation and maintenance. 3. Help facilitate conflict resolution when necessary. A growing number of psychologists and educators swears by a conflict resolution method called restorative circles. You step in at the start of a fight and ask your kids to take a deep breath and sit down with you calmly in a circle. Obviously, for screaming banshee fights, separation and soothing come first. For just a few minutes, each child gets a chance to speak their grievance. You ask, "What do you want your brother to know?" And the other child is asked to interpret what they've just heard. "What did you hear your sister saying?" Then you go back to the first child. "Is that what you meant?" Until a mutual understanding is reached and all kids feel heard. Then everyone brainstorms ideas to find an agreeable solution. Dr. Mazur agrees that, in addition to modeling, structured intervention of this sort can be beneficial for siblings. This strategy promotes equity and avoids the pitfalls that come from being the sole arbiter of justice, one who always makes the wrong call in somebody's eyes. Still, not all parents have the bandwidth and resources to step in and play mediator every 10 minutes. So feel free to use this method when it makes sense and seems necessary. When it comes to mediating versus letting them fight it out, it's okay to be flexible with your approach. 4. Promote cooperative play. Even especially if your kids are like oil and water, or more than a few years apart, it can be tempting to let them lead separate lives. Try not to. Choose toys that appeal to all age groups. Marius, bristle blocks, group activities on weekends or family vacations, and require them to show up for each other's games or recitals. In fact, Dr. Mazur strongly emphasizes the value of cooperative activities that require teamwork, fostering mutual reliance and shared goals, as this will provide siblings with some incentive to navigate disagreements in a constructive manner and without excessive parental involvement. By doing this, you will support both shared identity and individual uniqueness to reduce rivalry and build mutual appreciation, says Dr. Mazur, adding that it's also essential to establish clear family norms around fairness and inclusion, as perceived equity significantly impacts sibling warmth. In terms of how to actually go about this, the expert recommends that parents create meaningful sibling rituals, whether daily routines or special traditions, that strengthen emotional connections and provide a sense of relational security over time. For what it's worth, my family has had great success and a lot of fun playing one nightly round of Lorcana, a Disney-themed card game that can be adapted for collaborative play, such that my two kids play their own hand while strategizing together to defeat me, the villain. 5. Encourage affection. Affection isn't just warm, it's deeply beneficial, explains Dr. Mazur, adding that when siblings exchange genuine expressions of care, even a simple, "I'm glad you're here with me," it communicates a feeling of safety and belonging. This kind of emotional openness fosters resilience and mutual support. There's research to support this too. It's called the affection exchange theory, and it shows that affectionate communication supports relational well-being and stress reduction. 6. Curb resentment with this equity exercise. Dr. Mazur also emphasizes that children are attuned to equity, so when one feels singled out or overburdened, resentment can grow. For this reason, she recommends encouraging siblings to reflect on how they can each contribute fairly, whether it's chores, planning play, or sharing tasks. This helps them practice justice and mutual respect, she says. Indeed, research grounded in equity theory highlights that efforts to restore balance in perceived fairness reduce conflict in family systems. 7. Honor individual roles within the family system. Ever notice how each person in a household, kids included, tend to take on certain roles or personas? There's a family systems theory, which suggests that roles and mutual influence shape how siblings relate and grow emotionally together, Dr. Mazur explains. Up to this point, there's been a lot of focus on all things cooperative, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for individuality in a healthy family system. In fact, when you notice and support what makes each child stand out, like being the peacemaker, the protector, or the risk-taker, it lowers the need to compete, Dr. Mazur says. The end result? Instead of fighting for attention, they start to rely on each other. 8. Frame siblings as sources of emotional support. Your siblings can become critical sources of emotional support for you, but it doesn't take significant loss to benefit from that kind of sibling love. In fact, I always joke to my kids that if they didn't have each other, who else could they freely complain about me to? Dr. Mazur confirms. Sibling bonds can be powerful emotional resources. Helping children see each other as allies instead of rivals opens the door to empathy, emotional understanding, and self-regulation. Sibling relationships that function as emotional scaffolds support better well-being and help kids learn to navigate their emotions together. You don't need to take my tack, necessarily, but encouraging your kids to lean on each other in times of need will definitely do wonders for their bond. So, is there anything wrong with just, letting them go their own way? As a parent, you can't control everything. You can only create the right conditions for the optimal outcome, and sibling bonding is the optimal outcome. According to the expert, a strong sibling bond is linked to numerous evidence-based psychological and developmental benefits. Research shows that children with warm sibling relationships tend to develop stronger emotional regulation and coping skills, particularly in the face of family stress. These bonds also enhance social competence by promoting empathy, cooperation, and perspective-taking, which generalize to peer relationships. Thanks for watching. If this resonates you, do well to subscribe and share with someone out there.